To celebrate our 1 year anniversary, my son have put me on the hot chair. So he's gonna ask me some questions and I promise to answer. I have no idea what the questions are gonna be, but I will answer the question truthfully and honestly. So that's my son, my one and only, the king of my cattle, my only son. I have 4 girls and my only son. So Andrew, say hello.
Hello everyone. Yeah, just thought it'd be nice. I think it's been a year now, and many people might have watched many episodes, but most of the time it's about topics or themes or other people's dilemmas. I thought this might be a nice way for people to actually get to know my mum more, considering the fact that she's actually the host of the show. So I think this is quite a nice way. I have a few questions for her and put her on the spot a little bit, see what she has to say.
Put me on the spot.
So, first question is why? Why did you want to start a podcast in the first place? Why?
I thought about starting a podcast because I would say I'm a very open person, and you and I have had this relationship where we can pretty much tell each other anything, and it has always based on honesty. And I come to see a lot of some of your friends that you grew up with say, "Oh, I wish I have a relationship like you have with your mom, so that I can be able to talk about it." And I wanted to share my experience, most importantly, with other people, and then learn from other people's experience. Because we black people, we tend to think kids don't know what we're going through. We should keep this away from the kids. But in reality is they actually know what's happening. The fact that they don't tell you doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to share this part of my journey with so many people.
That makes sense. That's good. So it's been a year now, obviously. What do you think has changed, or has your opinion or feelings about any of the topics you discussed changed? Has there been a time during this that talking about the topic maybe changed your opinion, or maybe made you think about things differently? What's changed for you in a year between when you first did the first episode and now? Do you feel any different too?
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm more open to other people's feelings and opinions, because I'm usually the type who have principles and I stick to my principles. Sometimes my principle, mine, might not be the same as somebody else's principle, but I have to be able to understand that person's perspective of what topic is all about, or how the person dealt with their own issue different from the way I would deal with it. And I'm open to learn, because I always said, like I tell you all the time, it's only a foolish man that knows it all. A wise man always learn. So I'm here to learn as well as share my experience with other people.
Okay, and is there anything that you haven't talked about in this year that you would really love to, and you just haven't had the opportunity to? Is there a topic that you would really love to talk about?
I would really love to talk about how other parents deal bringing up children in the Western world, because the way I was brought up is completely different of the way I have raised you.
Yeah.
I was forced to adapt to the Western system because I couldn't impose my African belief and culture and conservative to the child that had never lived in Africa. So I would like to hear other parents' aspect of that a lot and share their own experience as well.
That would be really interesting. And is there a particular topic that you discussed in the year that really was kind of close to your heart, that was quite emotional for you, maybe?
The autism.
Yeah.
The autism topic, as we had two autism topic. One was how we'll feel when your child was first diagnosed.
Yeah.
And then we talked about how to access the help out here in the UK for parents who have disabled children. The reason why that was a very close topic to me, because I have 2 daughters who are autistic, and I tell you, I never heard the word autism until those girls were diagnosed with autism. And to a lot of people in Africa, they think it's like a death sentence. The blaming game is me, is our family, is my mother family. And I have come to learn, and I can sit here and talk about those girls that the book will be. So that was really, really close to my heart, which I pour my heart to when I had that conversation.
Okay, so what would be your ideal situation for the podcast in a year's time? What would you like to have, say, I've achieved this, maybe it's in a certain amount of subscribers, hitting a certain amount of numbers, maybe it's talking about a certain topic. What would you like to see in the next 1 year for Cynthia's Conversation?
I've always said, when I started the podcast, I've never put finance into considerations. I've never thought about, if I have 100 subscribers, I will have money from YouTube. That has never crossed my mind, not even once. I have always said, if Cynthia's Conversation helped just one person, then the purpose of the conversation is done. I remember having an email from my parents, who is a really conservative and Muslim person, and she said to me, she said, after listening to your conversation, and I was able to have a sexual interaction with my daughters, because usually they don't have this conversation with their daughters.
Sexual interaction?
Yeah, like
sexual conversation
about sex.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Like
sexual
sex
conversation
with their children, because this is something that in their Muslim background they usually don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So after listening to one of the episodes, she was able to have this conversation with her daughters, and it was really helpful. For me, that my job is done, because that was the purpose of the podcast. Have a conversation.
Okay, so what would you like to see then
in the next future? I don't know what future holds.
1 year.
In the next one,
ideally, like
ideally, I would love to hear hear a lot about other people's experience. I would love to hear people who have taken some of our advice, because sometimes I don't always get it right, and then how that have helped them in their daily life. And I would be really grateful. And if I have more subscribers along the way, I wouldn't say no to it.
Okay. Damn, I just lost my train of thought. I had a question. Oh, family and friends. Do you think your family and friends have been supportive? Because obviously you talk about anything and everything. Some things that are really personal, some things that make me want to, close my ears sometimes. Obviously, I know most of these things already, but sometimes I'm like, the whole world comes up. If they want, do you think your family and friends will be supportive?
I think the people that matters to me understand or understood what I'm trying to put out there, and those who doesn't understand, probably they really didn't matter. Okay. But I have always been open and honest to you, because I always say, when I'm no longer here, there is only one person who is going to flag the flag, who is going to wear the suit and stood on the podium and talk about your mother that millions of people don't know. So those of you who knows me, that I've been honest and open with, understood why I'm doing this. And those who don't, I can't force people's opinions. I can't change people's mind if they have a certain way or how they feel about the fact that I'm talking about everything and everything. Yeah. And you can't force people to change how their ideology, what they have here. So to me, the few friends or few family members who understood what I'm doing, and I appreciate them for that.
Is there anything you would have done differently in the past year? In relation to the podcast?
To the podcast. I don't know. Maybe I will stop swearing. Which that will not be me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You used to me saying, effing and B word all the time. So if I have to be able to be careful because someone behind the camera is going to judge me for saying that, that's not Cynthia.
Yeah, exactly.
That So I wouldn't change who I am to fit in somebody else's life. Yeah. And I will not force anyone to accept who I am. So I'm going to say, take it or leave it. What you see is what you get. That's Cynthia.
Okay, that's interesting. But how would you, for someone that had never watched an episode, and how, you know, an alien comes down from the world and asks you to explain Cynthia's conversation, what would you say? How would you put it?
I would say Cynthia's conversation is a place where you can be yourself. Most importantly, you can be yourself. You can express yourself. You can be anybody. No one judge you. If you don't want your identity to be revealed, your privacy is a priority to me, and I will keep that family, and I will want you to express yourself in any way you want to express it. I'm not here to judge you on how you live your life. I'm not here to judge you on your experience, because you and I can go through the same road and have two different experiences. So I can't tell you because my experience was smooth and sailing, yours has to be the same. Or because yours was rough and mine was straight, and I have to condemn yours. So for that purpose, I would say, if you have a topic, if you have anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to post, Cynthia's Conversation is a platform for you to express yourself in any way, any shape, or any form, without no judgment.
That's how you describe it.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think that makes sense. And do you think we're gonna see more things outside of just the podcast? Like you could see the T-shirt now. Are we gonna see more different types of things? Would you ever branch out and maybe not just do videos and do other stuff? Maybe you interviewing people, or like, you know, are we gonna see this conversation expand maybe to other things? That's not just discussion.
I hope so, because sometimes what we wish and what we get is completely different.
Yeah.
I would love to have a medical expert sitting on here, and then I will interview them, or why hasn't been a cure for autism. I would love to have a social worker explain why family are going through the trauma that they're going through, not having the help that they need. I would love to hear an African parents, you know, defend why they think the way they brought up their children straight and conservative is the right way, even though we are living in a complete different era. So I would love to see all that, son. But unfortunately, a lot of people will say things behind the keyboard than to say it in front of a camera.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So personally, I would love to hear more topic. I would love, whether it's controversial or it's whatever it is, I would love to hear from other people. Yeah.
Sounds good. Outside of the podcast, what would you say is like your main other interests? For those that don't know, obviously you're my mum, I know, but what would you say outside of the life of Cynthia's Conversation? What does Cynthia do?
My kids are my life. Without my kids, I'm nobody. That's number one. Number two, I love to have a laugh. Life is too short to be miserable. You know, there was a time and a place in my life that I thought the life is going to collapse. We are going to waste, sleep, and never wake up. I have learned to think that time is a healer. And every single day is a blessing. I can sit here and tell you histories and stories about my kids for as long as I can. But I'll tell you what, the only one thing that keeps me going every day is the love of my family. Those who matters.
So, outside of this conversation is family first, you would say?
Absolutely, 100%. Any day, anytime.
And how would you describe yourself? 3 words, how would you describe yourself?
Funny, crazy, and loving.
Okay.
I would say that.
Funny, crazy, and loving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty decent. That's pretty decent.
Oh, what were you expecting? I was going to say that I'm not. Hey, Andrea.
Well, you were honest. You said crazy. That's what I did.
Oh, wow.
I'm joking.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm joking.
Oh, Andrea, really? You thought I'm crazy? Okay, I'll ask you a question because you put me on the hot seat. How was it being parent by me as a Cynthia?
How was it being parented by you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it could have happened any other way. For better or for worse, the bad, good stuff and the good stuff, where our situation, you know, our family background, our family history, where we're coming from is very unique and very, you know, it's not something you can read in textbook about how to parent in general anyway. but not when you're coming from such, crazy situations. And it's only as I got older, I think it's only as you get older, as being a child, you sort of start empathizing with your parents more and realize that they're not superhumans.
Yeah.
And that they do their best to keep this strong front and to raise you, but they're also their own humans that's going through their own thing. But as a child, you almost don't see your parent always as being their own person. They're your parent.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you need to learn to understand that, yeah, they're your parent, but they're also their own human. And I think it works vice versa. A lot of parents see their children as just their kids, but it's like, okay, they're your kids, but they're their own person, individual first.
I agree.
And once you start getting more of an understanding of, we're not always going to see eye to eye. I think in some ways me and you are very similar, but in others I think our whole approach to life is very different. Some of our ways of thinking is similar in our compassion, but how we live, our lifestyle is very, very different.
I agree.
And I think sometimes they can clash, because you're quite, because of children, and you're quite routine and regulated, and you have your plans and you want to do things to your plans, have a time and place for everything. Me, I'm a free flow guy. I take every day as it comes, because I believe no matter how much you plan in this life will always throw its own thing at you. Life will always just be life. You can never be you can only be as prepared as you think you can for something, but life can make all your preparation seem like nothing if it really wants to.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Because I have that kind of background, I'm like, I ain't gonna stress, I'm not gonna worry, and whatever happens. And I think you're older than me, you have more responsibility, so it's different. But I think being parented by you has been amazing. I always say that to people, to my friends and my family, when they ask about you or ask about our relationship, and I say, like, yeah, there were some tough times, but I think there was a point where everything just kind of clicked into place, and then from then it was kind of smooth sailing. Obviously we still have our arguments, but it's not nothing crazy like before. But it takes work, it takes hard work, just like everything else. So parenting is not easy. It's not, as much as sometimes you want to pull yourself into your kids, it's also hard work. You have to learn to deal with it, and you want your child to be honest, but can you deal with that honesty? Because if I felt that my mum isn't going to handle the truth, or is going to attack me for the truth, I'm gonna lie, and it's only as you made me understand that it's better for you to just tell me the truth and make me know exactly what's going on, who you're with, who you're spending time with, where you're going, how you're feeling, because then I can actually help you. But if I don't know, or if I think it's something else that is completely different because you lied, then I'm never going to be able to help.
I agree.
But it's hard work. I always say, like, I don't envy my mom. Like, now that I'm getting older and have my own individual stress, and I don't even have children, and I'm already like, damn, being an adult is so difficult, and I can understand and appreciate and respect how tough it must be to be going through your own shit, but then you still have all the responsibility of your kids as well.
Absolutely.
So it's difficult, but I think we've reached a point now where it's calm.
I got it right then. All those nagging.
In the end. But it's two-way. I had to work hard myself to be the person I am.
And I agree to that. Well. Yeah. I have always appreciated your hard working. And I always said there would be no Cynthia without Andrew, because there was a time in my life that I didn't have anybody but you. Yeah. So you had to grow up to be that person, and to prepare you mentally to be able to go through what I was going through. But basically, the foundation of our friendship is the honesty, because I was able to be open, even the deep and the darkest things that a child shouldn't be hearing at early age. I didn't have a choice, but I had to share this, and I think that makes you this great man here.
Well, guys, we're running out of time, to be honest. We wanted to keep it short and sweet at 20 minutes, but just from me, I just wanted this episode. It might be a little bit different for what everyone's expecting, obviously, but I just feel like it's nice to sometimes hear, even some of the podcasts I watch, sometimes it's like, I know everything about this person, what they think, their opinions and stuff, but I don't know anything about them personally. So I think this is a good chance just to get to know Mum more. I was going to say Cynthia, it sounds weird. We don't
you won't take back hands.
We don't say first names.
They slap that by be coming from different angles.
But hopefully
even when you are 40s, you will still take on.
Hopefully in the next year I'll be sat here again, and we're on 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 subscribers, maybe, who knows. But
yeah,
that's it for me. You can wrap it up.
Guys, whenever and my son said, "Oh, I want to have a one-to-one with you," I panicked. So when he says, "Mom, we're gonna have a one-to-one sit down," I say, "Oh God, is he about to tell me that he has got a woman pregnant?" But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So, and I hope you guys enjoyed and get to see the relationship between me and my son, how much I love him, and you know that, Andrea. You know, no matter what happens, you are, you know, the king of this castle as far as I'm concerned. So, and guys, I'm glad you get to see my relationship with this boy,
and
this young man here.
See you guys soon.
And I hope you guys tune in to Cynthia's Conversation. And thank you to those who have subscribed, and thanks to those who are yet to subscribe, and thanks to those who's going to watch this interview between me and my son and take one or two things out of it. And till next time, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys, and happy 1 year anniversary to Cynthia's Conversation. Bye.